You spend months cooped up in grey classrooms, memorizing Latin terms, reading massive textbooks, and simulating procedures on plastic mannequins that don't bleed, don't scream, and don't feel pain. The theory is beautiful, organized, and controlled. But the real world of healthcare doesn't care about your colorful study guides or your lost nights of sleep studying anatomy. On the first day of your internship, reality doesn't knock on the door, it kicks it wide open. We were standing there, a group of terrified students in lab coats that were way too white, trying to look professional while our hearts pounded in our throats. Without warning, the preceptor opens the metal door and points down the noisy hallway. We were thrown straight into the delivery room. Hey, you there! If this immersion into the chaos of real life already got your heart racing, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Turn on notifications to follow the next stories from this intense journey. The air inside was different. It smelled of iodine, sweat, and an almost palpable electricity. At the center of it all, a woman. She wasn't a clinical case on a PowerPoint slide. She was a force of nature in full labor. Her screams weren't pure suffering. They were a superhuman effort, the kind that echoes in the bones of anyone watching. You look around, searching for a place to hide or something to lean on, but there is no support. Your eyes lock onto the scene, the obstetrician with firm hands, the nurse coordinating the rhythm, and that woman channeling an energy you didn't even know the human body was capable of generating. Suddenly, the preceptor pulls you by the shoulder. Get closer. Look here. Your mouth dries up instantly. You take 2 steps forward, forgetting how to breathe. And then it happens. The exact moment when life decides to manifest itself. The baby's head begins to crown, the skin stretches to its absolute limit, blood and amniotic fluid glisten under the bright surgical light, and that woman gives the final push of strength that didn't even seem left in her body. With one last surge, the baby slips into the doctor's hands. The silence in the room lasts for a fraction of a second, the exact amount of time it takes for the world to hold its breath. And then comes the sound, a sharp, shrill cry that cuts through the tension of the room like a knife. Something shifts in the atmosphere instantly. The woman who a second ago looked exhausted and shattered by pain collapses into tears of pure relief. Her face transforms. She smiles through her tears as the baby is placed onto her chest. You look down at your own hands covered in sterile gloves you don't even remember putting on. They are shaking. Your lab coat, once pristine, now feels heavy. You realize a stray tear is rolling down your own face, hidden behind the surgical mask. No one is looking at you. Everyone is focused on the miracle that just unfolded right there. But inside your head, a switch has been flipped. The next few minutes pass by in a blur. The delivery of the placenta, the stitches, the newborn's first care. The techniques that seemed so complex in books now happen before your eyes with an almost choreographed naturalness. The preceptor asks a technical question about the APGAR score, and you answer on autopilot, your voice still a bit shaky. When we finally step out of the room and the heavy door closes behind us, the hospital hallway feels strangely calm. The clock on the wall shows that only 40 minutes have passed since we walked in, 40 minutes that felt like an entire eternity. You sit down on the hallway bench, rest your elbows on your knees, and take a deep breath. The shock has passed. The adrenaline begins to fade, giving way to an absurd exhaustion, but also an absurd clarity. You realize that exams, grades, and academic pressure are just the shell. The essence of what you chose to do is locked inside those noisy rooms where fear and life meet face to face. Some of your classmates talk nervously, others try to laugh to break the tension. But you prefer the silence for a moment. You look up at the hospital ceiling and think, okay, the game has started. Medical school didn't prepare you for the emotional impact of that moment, but deep down, you know you will never forget the day you saw life being born up close.